We're back in Scott's studio. Scott, you don't have to pretend to paint.
I'm not. I'm just opening my thoughts. In case you want to see. These are the piles I have left.
I asked Scott, I said, can we go out to your studio? And so he's going to like pretend like, oh, I'm going to paint. I'm like, you don't
I'll
have to
paint with
pretend.
my invisible brush.
You can paint with your invisible brush. So you have finally said it's done.
Finally finished.
I think the video, because of the lights being so close to the painting, we'll video it again when it's in the frame. Where do you have the frame?
Not yet. Montgomery's making it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Montgomery Frames in Arizona. I really like what you did, like down here in this corner. And you were like balancing some of the blues and balancing.
Yeah,
You really wanted
and
this
your
to be.
suggestion, which was a great suggestion, I added some greens here to make this pop more, and some of the blue. You had really good suggestions that you gave me on this to finish it. And I also added lots of little, if you zoom in close, you can see some of these little spots of color, which broke up some of these big areas that get kind of dense. I put that in lots of things, like in this one too, a little bit of blue, a little bit of red.
Little tiny little, almost impressionistic. And like you said, like you really almost can't see it unless you're right up.
I kind of think of them as confetti. And they're just little spots here and there which will break up these dark areas. Get a little bit of red to balance things, but there's a lot of texture. I painted certain things over and over.
Yeah, you really
And,
spent a long time on this painting.
Yeah, I probably spent 6 weeks, I think, on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And
3
that's
days to draw it out, and then a couple weeks to just get everything covered, and then breaking things up, and even like things like here. Like these in the photograph, are very, very hard edged around, and so I would add things like to just break up the edge, some of these lights, to kind of merge it a little bit into this, so this shape isn't just completely separated from that shape. So I have something that kind of goes over the edge and into something else. So there's lots of little things like that, and then just a lot of the texture is fun to play with, and
Yeah,
even things
this
like
painting's
this,
pretty
which are
layered.
originally just the one color, then I'll drag a little bit of brown into that, and then a little into that, just so that it gets a little bit of unity. But who knows?
Well,
Whenever I
talk about
finish,
the colors you used here.
this is just some that I have set. I didn't use all these in there, but I just had them in a bag when I was painting outside. So this is one that I've used a bit on this. What is this? It's a
I think I gave that to
permanent
you.
yellow green,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I use these. I use cadmium lemon.
What's this purple right there?
This is a cobalt violet.
Wow.
So I used it in just a couple little spots.
That paint just by itself is going to put this
I think
painting
I
over
only-
the top
I think I
in
only used
price.
it down here.
And that's the type of paint you
Couple
really
little-
can't.
Couple little spots
mix.
here.
So there are certain kinds of paints that you use pure.
Right. It's
And-
so weak, actually. If you mix it with anything, it just
Yeah, but it's a
disappears.
very expensive paint. Those
It
like
is.
violets, those, and so
I actually picked this up for one particular painting I was doing that I had in the New York show. I wanted a couple of very intense violet ones that you couldn't actually mix this color. And so I've had it, and I'll take it out when I have a couple spots, like down here. I just use it in a couple spots down there.
right.
So it's
Well, because you
otherwise-
want them pure. You want them to be brilliant.
Yeah, it's just a little different than when you mix the permanent rose with like cobalt or ultramarine
Mhm.
gray. So it's just a different kind of
And woo!
stepped off the mat.
I know the filmmaker's hazard. So these 3 paintings plus your big powwow painting are going to go to the Prix de West, and I'll probably film you creating them.
Sue also had a good suggestion in this one. I had it almost done. I filmed this one for Patreon, so this one I did a lot of changes to, and I tried different directions and ended up with this. So I did film this one. Eventually we'll have it as a demonstration. But at the end, I had this part here too purple and brilliant, and Sue suggested that I use more of the colors in here. So I put a bit of a wash of brown and green over this, and it helped to keep the
I
center
think
of
so.
interest here. And also it made these little kind of purple spots pop out more. So I put in a lot more things in the background and then washed them back. So I'd
The
let things
video
dry.
is making it very contrasty.
Yeah.
So when you filmed it, you really worked so that you know that the colors
I shoot
are
it
pure.
in manual. So the automatic cameras like this are, because something's very
Yeah.
dark, it's going to try to make things lighter
Yeah.
and darker. So when
It
I
really
film
is
them,
coming out too contrasty in the video. And when you post it on Instagram, and your Instagram is at Scott Burdick Fine Art, with
Okay.
underscores in between Scott Burdick Fine Art. I'll put it underneath in the information. You'll post close-ups and you'll
Yeah.
post true color.
Right,
And then this was the painting that you reworked,
right.
and you used to have a blue background.
This
And-
one I'd done, yeah, it's kind of like a grayish blue background, and it was darker than her face. And that's the way it was in the actual photograph that I'd taken. And so I decided to repaint it with
Yeah,
a
I
lighter
love these
background.
frames.
Yeah, these
They're
are from
very
AU Frames
beautiful,
in Idaho. I just love their frames.
So these are the 3 paintings. This is a young girl who just lives down the road from us. There's a horse farm, and the grandmother teaches child rodeo. And that's how we met them. Was you were taking we were both taking photographs of the children rodeo, and her name is Katie. And
Yeah. So they've been doing that for a long time. She's been riding in the rodeo since she was 5.
I know she's about 14 now.
Yeah. And she's one of the best ones now. All,
Of
all
course,
over
she
the
was
place. Yeah.
the best then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything interesting in
So
your
you can show
studio?
your paintings.
Yeah, no,
These are a
I'll
couple.
show mine. Probably, this video is all about you.
Oh, okay, good.
So every time I come in here, paintings are kind of moved around. You're playing with frames. You're kind of, putting things out to look at them, see if you want to work on them again.
This is a painting I did at Nancy's.
Nancy Guzik's.
We hired models 3 days in a row.
That's her gardener, right?
He's like a kind of a carpenter. He's a
Oh, that's
carpenter.
a really nice
A really
painting.
wonderful guy. And so he does all kinds of carpentry jobs. And in fact, I'm probably just going to send this to him as a gift.
Oh.
But he posed. We paid him to pose for us one day, and we had different models each day. And he's really neat because he goes around and does jobs for all kinds of different people and for Nancy. And he hires people who are, he goes in and helps with people in prison. And then when
Adults at risk who need help.
and then when they get out, a lot of them can't get jobs because they have a record.
Yeah.
So he'll hire them, and some have different issues and stuff, but he works with them, and he's a really wonderful guy. This is Maya, one that we did from
You
Life.
did that from
Yeah.
All of these are
Quick
from
ones.
Life.
Yeah, all of these are from Life. There are quick.
Yeah.
We've got tons of them. I mean, there's whole bunches of them behind here. So this one is one I did in Scottsdale that I haven't finished yet. I did it from Life, but I'm going to do a little bit more to it. This is one we did in Greensboro.
Uh-huh.
What else have we got here? This is one I did at David Simpson's. For
His
our
granddaughter.
group when we used to do the Sunday things. And this is one I did in India.
Yeah, you painted that in Satara.
The
When we were
caretaker's
visiting
daughter.
Pramod Kurlikar.
Yeah. And this is another
Oh
one
my
from
gosh.
David's.
That is, she's a character.
And sometimes I'll write on the back. About, like, this is the girl from India. I'll write on the back a bit about who this was, where we painted them, and a bit about the person so that I remember. So
Right.
it's kind of fun to do that. And this was a girl that we painted together in
Santa Fe.
And another wonderful model that we've painted a whole
Ashley.
bunch of times, Ashley. There's one that I painted.
Oh,
Oh, Susan. There's Susan.
That is a painting in our local Renolda Gardens.
Yeah.
And every spring, like the flowers come out, and I went out and Scott painted me painting a rose.
Yeah. So I did a quick one of
Yeah,
that.
that's
And
fun.
in the scene, so it's kind of fun. A lot of those aren't great paintings, they're just fun
Oh,
to
Scott.
do. This is one from Sedona.
We were just there last
This is
October.
another one of the kind of life paintings. But anyways, I've got ones behind everything. I've got whole stacks of them.
Yeah,
in
we'll go
there.
through those over time. I wanted
Yeah.
to come out, and probably I will film you packing these up and showing people how you professionally pack them and what the crates look like. And did you say that Montgomery is going to make you a crate?
They're gonna ship it with a crate.
Oh,
I asked them to
awesome.
make a
Because
crate.
usually we have to,
Yeah.
usually we have to make the crate. Hey, sometimes I screw things in.
The we is you saying, Scott, make a crate.
Yeah, well.
and I do. I make crates.
Yeah.
I'd been using the chainsaw. We got an electric chainsaw, so
Yeah.
we just plug it in with batteries.
Yeah, he loves his toys.
And because we've got some really big trees that I had to cut down.
Look at the ropes.
And I use ropes, so we had a couple of giant
Hopefully this
trees.
summer we're going to build a little extra room so that Scott can put all these tools over there and
Yeah.
he can have more space for his just art stuff.
But I was happy because we got the last tree down.
Yeah.
It was giant pine tree that was leaning more and more towards my studio, and so I was always worried it was going to fall on it.
We get
so,
big winds here.
Yeah, and so I had to rope it off, and then I was able to cut it and get it to fall. Not
You did it
down
all
the
by
studio
yourself just from
sideways.
watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, I just watch YouTube videos to see how the professionals do it.
Yeah.
And so
Bought all your stuff from Amazon.
and it worked great.
Okay, thank you for letting us visit, and I will probably do more. I know. I have to move all this stuff on top. I put this up to block the light, but I guess if I don't need to block it, I can take it down.
See, that'll be nice. Nice lighting
Oh
on
my god.
That'll be good. And when we turn those lights off, you won't have the glare. Let's try it. Perfect right there. And can you switch those lights off easily? Oh, there's a switch. Great.
I'm supposed to switch these off? I don't want
Switch
to.
them off. Oh, well, see where you're filming. I just want to see. You don't need them off for now, but for filming,
You think
glare
even for
shows up
filming?
more. Flip them off. I want to see the difference.
Okay.
Let's zoom yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, you stand right here. I'm gonna flip them on and off so you can see the difference. Okay. You're standing there. So look at the upper part of your painting. Okay.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
So that'll be much better for filming. And these aren't gonna make much difference for the glare probably. See, because these are straight on. You can still leave this on
I'm
over
just
here.
wondering if I am not like super happy about being so far over.
We can move it this
Yeah,
way.
no, but I was
'Cause
wondering
these
if I could
lights
like
go all the way
angle.
across here.
I could angle a little bit.
You can do that.
So is that the
You
same
might
thing?
you might need to turn these off. Let me
But I don't want half my
just
studio's
just
lights
look
off.
at that, and I'm gonna see these lights over here. You might have on, and
The
these
switch
off.
is over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm just telling you. So you just look. This way we can figure it out. Oh, I think further over. And then we'll turn those on and see if that makes a difference. And again, you might not even need to worry about it when you're painting. It's really just when you're filming that it'll be more.
Well, but I don't want any.
So I'm going to turn this off. Stand where you've been painting.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make a difference? So now let me turn those on and see.
Scott, we have to figure out something else.
Let me just turn these on. I don't think these will matter.
But I just don't want to come in here. It's already a basement. I don't want to have
Okay.
half my lights off.
Okay.
You know.
Now, if you hang what you had there in front of these, you'll still have light back here, but it won't glare in your picture. If it's not directly coming to that, you'll still have that nicely lit back there. If you put the thing in front of those, you can leave them on.
Yeah, because I like the idea of being just the teensiest bit angled, just so that I feel like,
I like that, yeah.
everything's against the wall.
And then that way you'll still be able to get to the other side of this too, which would be nice. Take a look at the top where you're standing. I just want to see if these, my guess is that these aren't going to give you much glare when I turn these on.
Okay, if I've angled.
Since you're angled.
Yeah. No, it glares.
It does, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll put that
Some fabric
cloth
up. Okay.
in front of that, and then you'll be all set.
All right, you know what would really help me right now is if you were to move this thing because it's so annoying, and that we can figure out exactly where that comes. So that way will really help me with my easel.
This thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you could
So you
move
want to
it.
take this one off, take this out of there.
Yeah. So I have this piece of felt. It is doubled up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half, because we have these really strong, very long fluorescent lights that are low ceiling. I'm going to staple them to the ceiling, and it's going to be maybe about whatever this is. It's about maybe 15 inches.
Yeah.
And so it will hang down 14 or 15 inches and just block.
It just needs to hang out long enough so that you're not getting a direct line of sight to your painting, which is creating glare.
Because I did notice glare.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think I've just been unconscious about and I've just been dealing with.
Right.
And it's kind of like, until someone shows it to you.
It's more obvious when you film it.
Yeah.
Your eyes will kind of get around it.
So just to let you know, I have been filming things, and sometimes I haven't been able to use them. And, you know, because you're really trying to get the angle down on the camera, I'm trying to, like, be good about this.
So the main thing you did is, by having your thing wingers up here, the angle is coming down here, so you get less glare. If it comes this way and here, you get a lot of glare.
Yeah,
So
you see how close these like these fluorescents are, you guys. And I've been dealing with this for years and years, just moving my palette around. You guys saw that I put my palettes at an angle. See, I put these little blocks, because what was happening is that when I was looking straight down on my palette, because they're made out of glass, I was getting a lot of glare. And then I also, so I was putting them up so it was kind of facing me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these. I have tons of this felt, and then we are going to staple it to the ceiling, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Another frame for the frame cemetery.
Like I said, swing it more over to where your light is. Like, yeah, way over it, and then have it come backwards.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a difference on my painting. I don't really see a difference, so that's good.
Yeah, no, if it's coming from that same angle, similar angle to your...
So now I just have to figure out, oh, there's this thing, I could maybe use the bungee cord over there.
That wire, yeah. Well, that
Oh
wire,
my
you can
gosh.
just twist that wire around.
I'm not used to like all this work. Okay. I need to get this bungee cord. I have to make a noise every time I go up and down, like our cat Theo, who jumps up and down. I mean, there's just, you see there's a shadow, but the shadow is a little bit to the
Not
right.
bad, yeah.
So,
If you want to move it further forward, we can. Then you won't be casting a shadow on it. It's more like this here, like this here.
but then my palette is still darker over here.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can kind of like have it like in between, yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, okay.
Excellent. All right.
So Scott and I have been moving things around for about half hour, trying to get the best lighting on my paintings. I've originally had, if you guys notice from older videos, I originally had my easel like right here, and I would walk back and forth. Then you saw, like last week, I kind of felt like I needed something different, and I moved everything to this wall. And then I was standing right here, and what happened was all those lights were in my eyes, and I didn't have enough light on my palette because these fluorescents are too far apart, so then I started to use that boom light. So now Scott's here to help me, and we moved it more in the middle of my studio at an angle. So I can sit on my couch back here and really see everything. Okay.
And the lighting your canvas is coming from a higher
And
angle.
Scott was talking a lot about, even in his studio, you guys will notice that the lighting is very close to his paintings. Our ceilings are very low. This is maybe 8.5 feet high. It's not very high. And I thought possibly if these lights were too close, it would make glare. But he said, no, if they come kind of from above, it's fine. See, it's kind of coming from above. And so, but you have to have them from above and slightly behind, right?
Right, and so you don't want to be casting a shadow.
I don't want, okay. And I was having issues filming. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a test.
So this is the angle that you want. Coming from your light, it's almost like 45 or higher coming to your painting. Now, she had some lights back there, which were also on, and even though they were so far away, they weren't casting much light on her canvas, because they were coming at more of a almost straight on angle. Even though they weren't putting much light on here, they were giving glare.
And I've been living with stuff like that, even though my easel was a little different. I've been living with glare and not actually, I guess just sort of succumbing to it. Just going, oh, I'll never be able to fix it. I'll never be able to have it be better. We used the boom light to hit my palette. I put that, see, it's a temperature. So I switched it to, I think it's like 55 Kelvin, which is daylight, and I have these barn doors so that they're not going to hit my canvas. So what I'm going to test now is I'm probably, when I film stuff, I will have the tripod and the camera over my left shoulder so it kind of comes down so I'm not blocking it, and so I won't have a shadow on my hand. And we're going to do a tester to see about, because tomorrow I'm going to be filming this. I'm going to come tomorrow, film my demo for Oil Painters of America, and make a little thing for them, because they're doing something live on April 1st through their website to all of their members, and then people can pay a short fee because there's questions and answers. It's going to be live. I'm doing a pre-taped thing, but after that it'll be live. Okay, so that's why we're here.
You can tell too what we did on this.
What?
To test out what you were getting glare from is.
Yeah.
First we turned these lights off.
And I never really took the time or had someone help me do that, because I felt that what would happen is I would raise and lower my bigger paintings, and if I was working on things like right here, it seemed okay. But there was glare up here, but I just was like, well, I'm not working up there. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's not that big a deal. But once you turn those lights off and I could see the darks right better, it kind of was like a no-brainer. And in a way, it feels like, wait, why have I been living like that? Why have I not fixed it? But this is not a perfect studio.
And you didn't want to have the background.
I didn't want that whole area to be dark.
Completely dark.
Yeah,
so
I like having this area light when I come in, because I don't have windows.
So what we did is we just took some felt sheet and she cut it. And
yeah, as you can tell, I'm not really cut it really well.
What that does is it just keeps the light from reflecting off of the oil and giving her glare, but you still then can have this stuff lit back here. And this is the kind of thing that we do often when we have models. If you have a setup where you're going to use, like in school or for a group, this way you could stand back here.
And paint.
I could stand back here and paint, and have my easel here and still get light from these on my canvas, but the light is not going to hit the model.
You can have a separate light on the model and it be more.
I could even be right here, and I'm getting light now on my hand, which my canvas would be. But like I'm seeing Sue, and none of this light is hitting her face, so I can have that dramatic light without filling in all the shadows.
Right. Okay, so we moved this table over here. I put that little lamp because this section was a little bit dark. You see how far apart these fluorescents are. I'm still organizing, still figuring out this studio, even though I've been here, and I'm thinking I might throw that red chair away, even though it's charming. We bought it at an antique store years ago. It just sits there. Nobody ever sits in it. And it's like that kind of guilty thing where you have an old sweater that you know it's nice, but you never use it. And I just feel like it gets fabrics put on top of it. So maybe next time I video in here, you'll see that chair is gone. I'll find a person who will just love it. Okay, Scott, so now, oh, Scott's birthday today. Happy birthday, Scott! Now we're gonna just film a little bit and make sure I don't have glare, so when I come in tomorrow, it's perfect.
Great.
Yay! Yay, team Scott and Sue. Okay,